Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Black Clover. Last time around we had Asta and Yuno, where basically we were introduced to this world of magic, where everybody has magic. Magic is essential to basically your daily lives. You need that to get a job, to be the Wizard King, whatever you need in life, you gotta have magic. And Asta does not have that. Asta does not have magic, and everybody in town, and well, everybody from the region basically went to this tower to get a grimoire, which would let them do even more magic, and yeah, Asta didn't get a grimoire either, and unfortunately his brother, or unfortunate depending on who you ask, kinda Asta at the moment, but his brother Yuno did get a grimoire, and yeah, he just seems to be a prodigy. He's amazing. He has like the greatest grimoire too. It's just everything is, coming up Yuno. And at the end of the episode, a shady, suspicious person came over, tried to steal Yuno's grimoire, but Asta came in to try to help. Got beaten up a little bit, but then it was revealed that he does have a grimoire, the Black Clover grimoire, which houses the power of a demon. And so yeah, Asta finally has his magic, his demonic power, and let's see what he's going to do with that. But yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So why don't we just go ahead and jump right into this episode of Black Clover. Here we go. Boy, this kind of worked out, like, watching both of these back-to-back, for you guys, in the same week, I suppose. But it just kind of works out because these two kind of really go together, complete the introduction, so yeah, we have our to premise our beginning. Here we go. We have the start of our adventure. They're rivals. That's good. That's good. And it's exactly what I thought it was in the last episode, that Yuno is being hard on him, basically as a tough love, as a motivator to make sure he, kept at it, to make sure he never actually got discouraged. So, that was good. That was good. I mean, he's got a fire in him. He's got a fire in him. It's so Zexal, though. It's kind of ridiculous, Like, Asta is just Yuma from Zexal, like, without a doubt, There's not quite a comparison for the rest, like, with Yuno. Like, there's not really a comparison character for that, but still. I mean, I guess Shark. Later Shark, like, after he goes through his arc, basically. So that's all good. But yeah, like, this is interesting. This is really interesting. I like it. And honestly, yeah, just the whole thing of, I mean, it's also very, I don't know. I don't want to say basic shonen, but, Asta, I don't know. It's not exactly something new, but I like it, honestly, I like that he's a good boy. I like that he's a good boy. Like, let's have more of that, I guess you could say, to an extent, this is very Full Metal Alchemist as well. Like, Asta is a lot similar to Ed, and Yuno is kind of similar to Alphonse, to an extent. Like, it's not a one-for-one thing, but it reminds me of that. And the fact that this world also reminds me of Full Metal Alchemist, like, that's good. If a show is reminding me of Full Metal Alchemist, that's a really good thing. Like, we're in a good position here. Honestly, just from these two episodes, I get it. I get it. I'm really enjoying this, and yeah, like, one of my main things that we talked about in the last episode at the beginning, was the reason we're doing this is because people recommended this to me after I gave up on Jujutsu Kaisen. And the main thing with Jujutsu Kaisen is it felt like it cared more about spectacle than character. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a good spectacle, but, like, there were a lot of times where it's like, there's there's some crazy fight going on, like, I don't know, Mechamaru versus Mahito, where I'm like, well, this is beautifully animated, but I don't care because I hate Mahito and I don't really care too much about Mechamaru, And I just felt like the way they treated the characters in Jujutsu Kaisen, like, they just didn't care about them, It really was just more like, oh, we're going to have all this cool actions. Like, okay, well, what about the characters? And it was really from that where I was like, you know what? I think that's what I like more, Like, honestly, I don't really care what the story is. What I care about is the characters, Like, for me, if you have a solid character, put them in any story, pretty much, Put them in any story. I mean, it's the reason why you have characters like Batman or Superman, where it's like, there are 20 million different iterations of these characters, but that's fine because at the base, they're the same character. They're the same incredible character they've been for, 80 years or whatever, and you can put them in all these ridiculous stories. And I think that's definitely where I'm starting to land, That's why I'm enjoying shows like, like Vinland Saga, which is a character show, why I'm liking like Bocchi the Rock. That's why I like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. It's like I much more enjoy the characters and how they interact with a story than a story and also there's some characters there. Like, that's what Jujutsu Kaisen felt like to me, And this, honestly, this reminds me of kind of early My Hero Academia, My Hero, Zexal, Full Metal Alchemist, all of which were character things. Zexal and Full Metal Alchemist stuck their landings, whereas My Hero gave up on it. My Hero, that was my problem, was that it stopped caring. It stopped caring about most of the characters, and B, the characters it did keep, like Deku, ruined. Just completely ruined them, or All for One ruined those characters. So, if it doesn't do that, I think we're in the clear, If it doesn't do that, I think we're in the clear. So, yeah, just immediately it's like I'm invested in Asta and Yuno. I'm curious to see what other characters we're getting. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say we're not going to be keeping the father and sister. Like, I'm, even though I like them, I think they're really interesting. I imagine it's going to be a thing of, well, they're the people from the hometown, and our two boys. I mean, literally, I did watch the preview. I'm probably not going to be watching the previews going forward, but I watched it because I watched the ED. But I mean, the next episode is called "To the Royal Capital of the Clover Kingdom," so I'm assuming that we're going to be going there. I think if I'm right, the only thing I might know about this show is we're going to go to a sort of magic academy. So, which is fine. Yeah, and they've been talking about that anyway, that they're going to be taking like the magical night exams and stuff. So, so if that's the case, I imagine we're going to leave behind, the father and the sister that we have in the hometown. And that's fine. That's fine. So I'm curious to see what other interesting characters. I mean, there were like 20,000 of them in the OP that we had. So I'm curious to see what interesting characters we get in this show that get to interact with Asta and Yuno. I'm going to be saying I'm going to be saying and a lot. So I don't know. Maybe I'll switch back to that. There we go. So that was good. I mean, we got the backstory. It definitely, again, it felt like very Full Metal Alchemist, where it's like, okay, now in the second episode, we're going to tell you some of the backstory, but obviously not as dramatic and traumatizing as the Full Metal Alchemist backstory. But here, I mean, it's just a very simple but very good backstory. Yuno was always, he's the emotional one. He was the one who pretty much wore his emotions on his sleeves. I mean, not that Asta doesn't, but wore his emotions on his sleeve, got really invested in everything. I mean, just the difference between the two of them while the sister is reading the book, It's like, Asta is like, that demon, he's not going to get away with this. Excuse me. Whereas, like, while she's reading about this terrifying demon from literally a children's book, basically. He's got like his ears covered by his hands, and he's like, I can't take this. But then when he hears the part of, well, the first Wizard King rose up, defeated the demon, and was the protector of the land, Asta's like, hell yeah, man, let's go. But his response is just more hopeful, more cheery, like. So that's a really interesting thing, just showing the difference between them. And then they said last episode, it was after that incident, stopped crying, and they show here that he's done with that. He's done with crying. He's not going to basically just take things. He's not going to wear his emotions on his sleeve. And while it seems, last episode, it seemed to bring himself more. It basically caused him to collapse in on himself more. It's not that he's, just this, quiet, self-contained person, honestly. I guess I don't know what other way to describe it. But it just means that he does keep more in, but that's not a bad thing, That's not a bad thing. He still has his hope, and he still, has, his love for his brother. So, and it's because of that that Asta was able to get back up and get the Black Clover grimoire. So that all worked out. Asta coming in like a crazy person, beating up this drunk dude. This freaking piece of shit. I mean, they definitely don't shy away in these 2 episodes from showing you that it's like, this world is going to be harsh. There are going to be terrible people out there, but you can overcome that. And I like that, Like, it's kind of like where, I guess you could say, I don't remember if it was episode 2, but early in Attack on Titan, they show some of the backstory with Mikasa and Eren, how they met basically and everything. And if you know Attack on Titan, that's a pretty dark, traumatizing thing. But whereas that was just a dark, traumatizing, like, this was not a good thing that happened. It's like this. It's like I like that they're combating this basically. That it's like, yes, there is going to be darkness in this world, but you can overcome it. Even though Asta has the powers of a demon, and we're gonna have to see what on earth does that mean. What does that mean for him? What does that mean for everyone else when they see he's got this Black Clover grimoire and he has the powers of the demon? What does that mean for him? But I like this, that it's like, yes, he does have the powers of a demon, but that doesn't really mean anything about him. He's still a good kid, He's a good kid. He's a good boy. He's very energetic, and thankfully he's been working on his muscles for 15 years, so he was able to wield that friggin' giant sword, like a sword that rivals like Cloud's and Guts' swords. I don't know too much about Berserk. I've never read Berserk. I want to someday, but I all I know really. Well, I know some things, but that's just one of the things I know is that he's got a big sword. But I just love he's just got this big fuck off sword, and he's strong. He's strong enough to wield it, and it's an anti-magic sword, which is good. That's kind of what I thought it would be. That the reason he has no magical ability is he kind of has the opposite. Like if magic is a coin, he has the other side. Which is rare. It's incredibly rare. Not exactly like a coin. A coin is 50-50, but still. But he's the other side, basically, where he is anti-magic. And I like that. I think that's an interesting thing. I'll be curious to see how that works, like, within fights and stuff like that. So yeah. But they have reaffirmed their rivalry with each other to be the Wizard King. And, yeah, it's good. I like it. I like that they are rivals, and this will propel them, propel them to these great heights. Who will be the Wizard King at the end of this? I don't know. Honestly, I could go either way on which of them will be the Wizard King. I would kind of like it if was the Wizard King, and then, you know, Asta became his own thing. Because that's what he's doing, you know. He's doing his own thing with the Black Clover grimoire, with his, you know, physical training. Like, I'd like to see something like that he ends up becoming something different. He goes his own path, basically. But I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But yeah, that's episode 2. Pretty much our introduction to this world, and I like it. I really, really enjoy this world. You know, it's a thing of, like, when I watch some of these shows, I think, like, could I see myself in this world? Honestly, I really like just immediately, like, yeah, I could, actually. Like, this world, like, I really enjoy it. I love the look of it. I love the design. And I just love that it's like, yeah, everybody has magic. Everybody. And then, even if you don't have magic, you still have the potential to be incredible, you know? So it's like one of those things where it's like, you know, oh, well, you know, if you were, like, reborn, would you want to be reborn in My Hero Academia? Probably not. A, you're not guaranteed a quirk. You could just not have a quirk. B, your quirk could be garbage, you know? I suppose it's possible, you know, we could see some people with some garbage magic, but, like, I don't know, just from these 2 episodes, it's like, it really does feel like this is an interesting world, you know? I'm very curious to see way more of it. And, yeah, honestly, it does feel like the beginning of Full Metal Alchemist, I'm going to be honest. And that's a really good thing. If this anime reminds me of one of the greatest anime of all time, then I think, guys, we're set. So I'm happy I listened to you guys. I'm happy I've listened to you guys and decided to do this. And I'm happy to be doing this twice a week. So yeah, really, really interesting stuff, and I'm curious to see where we are going next time. But that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Black Clover reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.